Welcome to the Foursquare Learning Series. This first video is titled, What is Foursquare? So there's a couple of things we want to cover in this video. We want to give you an introduction to Foursquare. We want to tour a typical Foursquare page. And then we want to do an overview of the Foursquare Learning Series so we can tell what's in the other videos. As you can see by the graphic on the right, Foursquare's traffic is really surging. So let's get started. So what is Foursquare? Foursquare, you can keep up with friends, you can discover new places, and you can get great deals and discounts. Let's focus on that great deals and discounts from a store owner's perspective. Think of having a map where you can see all of the Foursquare people that are moving around in your town. You'd be able to put ads out to their mobile devices and attract them into your store. There's about 20 million users on Foursquare. The usage is about 60% US and then 40% outside the US. It's 60% male and 40% female. There are about 1 million businesses using the Foursquare platform, and there's about 2.5 billion check-ins so far. It's quite a few shoppers. Badges are digital achievements. Each check-in awards a member so many points. So many points leads to so many badges. So it's all about having more badges than your friends do. You know, you can have a badge for being a mayor of a location or for checking into a location so many times. So it's really a great competition between customers. So let's talk about how a business might leverage Foursquare. There are really quite a few ways. You know, we can obviously sell more product if we're trying to catch people's attention as they're walking by the store. We can encourage customer views so we can find out what people think about our products or services or our food. We can also gain insight from just the audience in general. What's the demographic look like? You know, do we serve more old than young? Do we serve more male than female? We can obviously build loyalty. And we can get free advertising. This is also a great way to outflank your competition. So let's go on to the next slide. The next thing we want to talk about, let's look at a Foursquare page from a merchant's perspective. If we turn the slide, let's look at the update box. Now, an update is different than a special. Maybe an update is, hey, we've got a great new line of desserts, or maybe we've added table space, or maybe we have umbrella tables outside for lunch. Those are the kind of things that you'd want to put there. And so make sure you're really specific and make sure that you're enticing. You can also add some photos, let's say a shot of those tables and umbrellas outside. The next thing we want to talk about is a special. Now make sure when you're advertising specials, that they are special. Not just that it's, the same old lunches, but that there's really a reason for people to stop by. I mean, they'll figure out pretty quick that it's the same old thing, so don't make that mistake. You'll also notice there's a Facebook and a Twitter link down below the attached photo and attach a special. And here's a place where you can go ahead and tweet out the information or post it on Facebook. So now let's look at the menu items that are across the top. There's an updates button so that you can review your updates so that you don't have to write them all the time. There may be, hour changes and things like that, where maybe on Saturday and Sunday during the summer you're open more often than you are during the winter hours. Well, those updates can be kept for you so you can always go back and recall them. So that's a pretty good feature. If we look at the next box over, that's the special feature. It's the same as the button down below. It's just a second way to go ahead and get at it. The next menu selection is called Dashboard. This is where you can review your customer demographics, find out what people like, and what they're not so fond of. The next selection to the right is the Tools pull down. This is where you can update your profile, and you can also use some of Foursquare's tools. There's some out to edit categories, report a duplicate location, lock this location, or delete the location. So if we go on, there's one more, and that's K's Market. This is where you can switch users if you have multiple Foursquare accounts. You can also get into My Profile, Lists, which we'll talk about later, Connected Apps, and you can log out. So just to wrap things up, we've talked about the Foursquare intro, and we've toured a typical Foursquare page from the merchant's perspective. So what's next? Well, we've covered Foursquare, so the next video that's up is Getting Started with Foursquare. And if we look at Getting Started with Foursquare, it talks about creating your Foursquare account, taking ownership of your location, and the merchant dashboard. Attracting an audience talks about offering deals and specials, embedding tips on your website, brand pages, and partner badges. And then the last video in the series is called The Business Side. This is where we'll track your progress, give you a starting point, and also talk about the different business models that use Foursquare. So, as we've just mentioned, here's coming up in our next video, creating your Foursquare account, taking ownership of your location, and the merchant dashboard. So this ends the first video. Thanks for listening.